Helena, I want to shift gears, and you are the exact person I want to ask this question. So let's talk about texting. Let's pretend you and I are on date 3, and we haven't set up date 4 yet, and we're in between. Are you allowed to text the guy, or what can you do in terms of texting as the feminine person in this dating arrangement? And we like each other.
Okay, yeah, great question. Here's the thing I want to mention about texting, because again, such a great question. I get asked that all the time. What do I say? How do I text him back? Is it okay to initiate sometimes? If you are feeling super confident and you know a man's crazy about you, you know that, you can do anything, really. If you know that a man's energy is coming towards you, he's really interested, he's not going anywhere, you can do whatever you want. You can initiate, you can call him up and say, hey, let's go to dinner tomorrow night. That's not going to push him away, right? As a man, if you're really into a girl and she leans forward and initiates sometimes, you'd be thrilled, right?
This is the best advice I've ever heard, because no one's actually ever said that. We're always talking about like, well, hide, be feminine, like let him attack you. And you're so right. And I've never even thought about this, because I actually give advice to hide, but you're actually onto something, because on average, men know if they're going to fall in love with this woman by date 2. So as long as you're past date 2-ish, the guy's already made up his mind. He's like, all right, she's hot and I like her personality. I'm moving forward. She's either in my relationship. She's in my relationship bucket. I did not put her in the hookup bucket. Mm-hmm. I like her. I want to move this thing forward. So yes, that's spot on, and keep talking. Okay. That's awesome.
Totally. Okay, I just wanted to mention that because, okay, that being said, most women who come to me and watch my videos on YouTube or, read my newsletters and programs are not at that place, right? And if you're watching this video on how to bring a man closer, especially if he's pulled away, you are likely not at that place where you're like, he's into me, I know he's crazy about me, I can do anything, it's not going to push him away. So my work is to help you get to that place where you can really do whatever you want, and it's amazing. So, but yeah, if you're not at that place, it's always a good idea to just lean back into your feminine energy and see what this man does all on his own without any like prompting or pressure or like nudging on your end. And that gives you a lot of information about his interest level, where he's at. If we've been on, I think you said 3 dates and there's no plans for a 4th, I mean, if you're really interested in a girl, you're not going to jeopardize, you're not going to risk losing her by not getting back in touch as a man, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I always say if there's a 10,000-foot wall and I like a woman, I will knock it over. I will climb it. I will do whatever I have to do to get to that woman. And that's the same with introverts too. I always get asked that, like, what about introverts? Should I reach out to him? And I have the most introverted friend on the planet. And I said, hey, do you reach out to women? He's like, I love Bumble. They reach out to me. And then what about on second, third days? Like, yeah, I typically don't reach out to them. I'm like, what if you really like the woman? He's like, oh, if I really like her, then absolutely. Of course I reach out. So there you have it.
Exactly. Yeah. So my job is to help you get to that place where you're feeling so confident, you could have any man you wanted, right? So then you could do anything you want. That's the great thing about this work. It's not a game and it's not a superficial strategy. It's a whole new way to live your life, right? Coming from your feminine energy, which is already like inside of you, just waiting to be uncovered. So if you're not sure about a guy, I always say, when in doubt, lean back into your feminine energy, just watch what he does, like a little more dispassionately, to where you're not trying to like steer things in a certain direction. That being said, if you're not attached to the outcome, like if you are like, should I text a guy? One of the most common questions I get. I always say, if you, let's say you lean forward and text him, if you don't get the response you're hoping for, if you're going to be devastated and disappointed and heartbroken, I would say you're too attached to the outcome or the result of that interaction. So yeah, that's a big clue to just lean back and see what he does. But if you don't care, I always have women ask themselves, what am I hoping will happen? And if they can answer that really strongly, like, well, I'm hoping he'll ask me out for the weekend, and if he doesn't, I'll be really sad. Big clue that they're trying to make something happen. They have a strong agenda. Time to lean back into their feminine energy. But if the answer to that is, I don't know, I'm just bored and I'll just, it's okay, of course, to like give him a little indicator of your interest and then lean back from there, as long as you're not strongly attached to that outcome, if that makes sense. I hope I'm not being confusing there.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But talk to me about like what mindset should women be in the early stages of dating so that maybe they aren't so attached to what happens when they text someone?
Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, I always, there's so much I have to say about that. A lot of women who come to me have this similar thing going on. I was certainly this way myself back before I figured all this out, of putting a man on a pedestal, right? It's like they really like a guy, they're not attracted to that many men. Then one guy comes along, they're super attracted to, they have these rare, strong feelings for him. And so they kind of put him on a pedestal. And then when we do that, we can't really help it. We tend to want to like go after him, even in very subtle ways, like trying to prove themselves to him or like win his love, win him over in some way. And so first thing to do is take that man off that pedestal, right? And just kind of see yourself as the prize, as the woman, not in like an egotistical way, but in just a really confident, feminine way. And I love your question about mindset, the mindset of just trusting and allowing two very feminine energy qualities, just trusting that the right man for you will want to pursue you and come after you all on his own without you trying to convince him or like pine after him. This pining energy is such a problem I see out there that I really want to turn around, because a lot of women are out there kind of pining for men who are not doing the job, who aren't really doing anything in terms of their masculine action towards her. Do you see that as well?
I do. Let me ask you this, like, since it's so early, do these women actually know if this guy's like a good guy or a high quality guy? If it's like between date 1 and 5, like, should they be this excited this early?
Oh my gosh, I actually love that question. That like got me really excited for a second. Yeah, here's what I think you should do, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I think I heard you say once, Mike, in a live stream we did together on my channel, like judge the relationship, not the man, or something like that. What I like to say is if you can hook up your feelings of chemistry and attraction with a man's masculine action towards you, then you've really got something. That would be choosing a man based on your feminine energy rather than your masculine energy. And I know that probably sounds confusing. So can I explain that for a second?
Yeah, please do. I'm confused.
Okay, yes, I know. I'm like, even just saying that, I'm like, that's such a big concept. Okay, choosing a man with your masculine energy is kind of looking at a man on paper and deciding he's what you want, with, like you said, within the first couple dates, because maybe he looks good physically, you're attracted to him, he has a great job, he's successful, he's the way he carries himself, he's funny, whatever it is. You have these external kind of requirements, and he fits that checklist, and so your masculine energy wants to go after him. And we can, when we do that, we can ignore our feminine energy, meaning how do you feel about yourself when you're with this man? So forget about how you feel about him and all his external qualities for a minute. How do you feel about yourself in his presence? Meaning, how relaxed are you around him? How much can you just be yourself and open up and feel his energy coming towards you, right? So that's choosing from your feminine energy, choosing a man based on how it feels to be with him, both when he's right in front of you and when he's not right in front of you. So many women say, well, when we're together, it feels so good and the chemistry's off the charts. But when he's not there, like when he disappears for a week and I don't hear from him, I feel really anxious and insecure and it doesn't feel good. Well, I'd say that's something to pay attention to. So how does it feel with this man? Does he seem to be pursuing you? Is his energy coming towards you? Can you just be yourself and feel that he accepts you and likes you, or not? And that's a really good way to start choosing these men with your feminine energy rather than this masculine energy checklist kind of way of doing things. Did that clarify it?
Yeah, that made perfect sense. And I totally agree with you. We all need your help. So let's say we've got the amazing man on paper, right? But like you said, he is causing you some anxiety because he's not texting you enough or reaching out and kind of coming after you. And let's say it's pretty early, you know, you're on date 8 and maybe you're exclusive at this point. And maybe he doesn't know that you want to be reached out to this much because he's like this, got this big job. You've got a, you know, your great job. And he's thinking, I don't want to bother her. So what can a woman do to kind of let him know that, so that we can boost this feeling of not feeling anxious and getting what you want from the guy? Like, what can she do?
That's a great question. Yeah, I would say before you said date 8, you're exclusive. We'll talk about that. Before you get to that point, I'd say best 4 words I could ever tell any woman out there is keep your options open, right? Don't commit yourself exclusively to one man in your mind and in your heart before you know for sure that he's committed to you and investing in you. That's my opinion. Do you agree with that? I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, 100%. If he's not investing, then yeah.
Keep your options open. Okay. Yeah, that being said, you're exclusive with a guy, you're not dating anyone else. Yeah, I think it's totally fine to say, hey, you know, it feels so good hearing from you. It's all about making requests coming from your feminine energy, right? It feels so good hearing your voice at the end of a long day. He texts you good morning, let him know how great that feels, that puts a smile on your face for the rest of the day. And it's that positive reinforcement and appreciation and acknowledgement rather than, why didn't you text me all day, right? Why don't you call me anymore the way you used to? Coming from it in a positive way, coming from acknowledgement and appreciation, amazing. And you can always ask, like if you're exclusive with a man, in a sense, he's kind of like, if he's asked you to be exclusive, he's telling you that like he wants to be the one to meet those needs of yours, like because you're not going to be dating other men anymore, right? So if he's a good man and he's interested in you and he cares about your feelings, he'll want to know what's going to make you happy. So absolutely, it's fine to let him know, yeah, it would feel so good to, be in touch just about every day or whatever it is that you need from him.